From 2015 to 2019, the Golden State Warriors were partying like this. But in the last two seasons, they were more like... Hey, but thankfully, after making some roster adjustments and developing new guys, the Warriors now have a solid lineup that can propel them back to championship contention next year. One of the players that I think will have a big impact on the Warriors' championship run is Jordan Poole.
A 2-year deal with the Warriors after a long journey to make it this far.
And that be the harbinger for this one. Jordan Poole for the lead. Yes, sir!
Why, you might ask? Well, I'll just let the numbers do the talking. After getting reinstated coming from the G League, this dude has been killing it on the offensive end. Before he was sent to the G League, Poole was only averaging about 5.5 points while shooting at 33.3% from under 20 games. But after he got called up, he amped up his scoring to 19.7 points and improved his three-point shooting to 43.8% in just 10 games. Now, if you want to see his improvements on a much larger scale, Poole improved his scoring from 8.8 points per game during his rookie season to 12 points per game in the last season, and on top of that, he also became more efficient from three, from only averaging 27.9% in his rookie year to become a more legit shooter with 35.1% this past season. Oh, and before I forget, Jordan did most of his damage coming off the bench and on limited minutes, which means that he'll definitely be more productive if he's going to be a starter or have more playing time in the upcoming season. Last season, Poole only averaged 12 points per game under 19.4 minutes per game. But if the Warriors decide to play him more next season, let's say, around 36 minutes per game, there is a possibility that he can average up to 22.3 points per game according to advanced stats. Now, you might not be the biggest fan of numbers, but most of the time, the stats never lie. And if we're going to use these numbers as a barometer for his development, there's certainly no way but up for this 22-year-old Warrior. All right, enough of the numbers. Let's move on and talk about other facets that make Jordan Poole so good. Like the intangibles and stuff that don't usually appear in the stat sheet. Like his guns. No, not that. I mean these guns.
Yes. I am growing stronger.
In case you haven't heard, Poole has been a gym rat as of late and looked pretty swole compared to last season. The Athletic's Anthony Slater talked to JP in a recent article that he made, particularly about his work ethic and all the hard work that he's been putting in the offseason. This is what he had to say. Poole is spending this week in Las Vegas. The Warriors have rented out a monster gym with 6 courts and a weight room 20 minutes from the Strip. He's been working out regularly, sometimes double dipping with a nighttime shooting session. He appears to have put on at least 10 pounds of muscle since he entered the league. Sean Livingston and Leandro Barboza were among those watching his high-intensity Tuesday workout. Both gave a nod of approval afterward. Yes, a big Poole season might be on the horizon. His teammate Juan Toscano Anderson also noticed the hard work that JP has been putting in since the start of the offseason. He does his own thing and I do my own thing. But when I see him in the facility, he's here, and most of the time, he's the last one to leave the gym. And I'm not just saying that, he is the last one to leave the gym a lot of the time. After checking out his numbers and talking about the continuous improvements in his physique, there's no doubt that JP will make the Warriors instant contenders in the upcoming season. But wait, have you heard the news that JP competed in the Crossover Pro-Am League in Seattle a few months back? And boy, let me tell you, JP showed up and just lit them up. In his first game, Poole dropped 36 while adding 11 rebounds and 6 assists. In the next game, he torched everybody by scoring 32 while dishing out 7 dimes on the side. You can see that his game becomes more fluid and balanced in these clips. This is just a byproduct of the hard work that he's put in since day one, and I'm not gonna lie, but JP is just toying people here and having some fun. When I say having fun, I mean this kind of having fun. Okay, that was absolutely insane. Actually, for a moment, that dunk kinda reminds me of this guy.
To himself off the glass.
His Pro-Am performance was just a preview of what he can bring to the table in the next season. But the question now is, how will he fit within the stacked and revamped Golden State roster? Steve Kerr is already eyeing JP to be the team's sixth man. With Kelly Oubre Jr.'s departure, the super sub role is now locked in for JP. After scoring 38 points prior in the second to last game of the regular season, Kerr reiterated that he'll definitely be the main guy when the starters sit down. He's really explosive, as you saw tonight and as you've seen over the last couple months. As we look ahead, I think he's going to be a sixth man. He's really capable of getting 20 any night. It's so great to have scoring off the bench. Despite what Kerr has said, there's still a possibility that Poole can become a starter given that Klay won't be back until early next year and if Steph gets injured. JP has the same tools as the Splash Brothers, and his scoring will definitely help the Warriors in their title run. In fact, JP has already been studying the tapes of the Splash Brothers during this offseason, according to Joe Lacob. He's actually been studying film of Steph and Klay not because he wants to be Steph or Klay, but because he sees some things that they do, and he wants to try to mimic the things that he can. Whether he'll be assigned as a starter or coming off the bench, I'm pretty sure that he'll do just fine in either role. With the old and new pieces meshed together in the lineup, Kerr looks optimistic about what lies ahead for Golden State. I think we've got a lot of momentum going into the offseason and into next year. We get Klay Thompson back. We've seen how good this team can be. We saw how good Steph Curry and Draymond Green were together, and now we've got some young guys really coming and a couple more draft picks in the coming draft. Hopefully add a free agent or two, and we've got a chance to be really good. With that said, let's break down how the Warriors lineup will look in this upcoming season. First up, the Warriors will still heavily rely on familiar faces like Steph, Klay, Draymond, and Andrew Wiggins. Meanwhile, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, James Wiseman, JTA, and of course Jordan Poole complete the pool of young blood for the Warriors. And finally, the free agents that Kerr talks about are Nemanja Bjelica, Otto Porter Jr., and the returning Andre Iguodala. There are a lot of possible combinations that you can do with this versatile roster, as almost everyone can shoot from outside and defend multiple positions. With this in mind, there's also a high chance that the Warriors will crack the top 5 categories on both offense and defense next season. The 2022 Warriors look scarier than ever. You've got Steph, who just came off a strong MVP caliber season. Klay will soon be coming back from his ACL injury. And Draymond has been sharp on the defensive end as ever. And don't forget about Wiggins, who can also light up the scoreboard anytime as well. For the young guns, there's going to be some serious yet friendly competition among them, and I think it's a good thing for the team since they'll be pushing each other to greater heights in terms of improving the game. But in the end, I think JP will benefit the most from this one since he has a lot to prove against the other 3 first-rounders that were picked ahead of him. Now that everything seems to be in place for the Warriors, Steve Kerr believes that the relationship between the old-timers and the young stars will play a crucial role leading to their future success. I think this year's team will offer a much better mix of mentors and veterans to go along with those young guys. I think we'll have more continuity this season than we've had since our championship teams, and a much clearer sense of who's ready to play and who's not. Listen guys, I am so excited for the season, and not only for the return of Klay, but of the young future core of Poole, Wiseman, Moody, and Kuminga. How good can they become? Well, I actually go over that in this video right here. I analyze the young rookies and what the bench is capable of, and let me tell you guys, it's some exciting stuff over there. Super exciting. Click the video, watch it, enjoy it, and as always, I'll see you on the other side.